Hey everyone, today's video I'm kind of gonna talk you through almost a vlog style video of our recent weekend trip to Asheville, North Carolina. But before I get to that magical, beautiful weekend, if you're watching this the weekend that this goes live, which is Memorial Day weekend, I need to acknowledge that it is in fact Memorial Day weekend. And while many of us think of it as the unofficial start to summer and all the sales, the real purpose of this weekend is to remember our fallen soldiers, the ones who have sacrificed so much, the greatest sacrifice, to give us the freedoms to do all the things that we take for granted. If you have an American flag, get it out, fly it, and be very, very proud and very, very grateful to those who have given their all so that we can enjoy this beautiful country. Now, let's talk about another beautiful thing, which was our magical long weekend in Asheville, North Carolina. So the purpose of the visit was specifically to go celebrate the wedding of my friend Sarah Jane. She's actually a YouTuber, and we met through social media and became very close. We talk almost daily, and there's a small group of us, all YouTubers, who you will see later on in this video, that we're all going. That was the main reason for going, but we decided to make it a little bit more of an extended weekend because we've never been to Asheville, North Carolina, and we definitely wanted to explore. The wedding itself was held at the Grove Park Inn, so if you're familiar with Asheville and their historic hotels, that is one of them. We ended up deciding to stay at the inn at the Biltmore estate so that we could have the full experience of staying at the Biltmore and all of that. That's a vacation in and of itself, honestly. And then also be able to be not that far away so we could join in for the wedding festivities. So my travel weekend actually started Thursday afternoon because while I love living in San Antonio and I think it's one of the best places in America to live, one negative is that we don't have as many nonstop direct flights. There is one out of Austin every Friday morning at 7 a.m. So we decided to book the flight Friday morning out of Austin and drive up Thursday late afternoon, spend the night at an airport hotel, and then we'd be right there to get, to the airport about 5:30 in the morning and head out to Asheville. Thursday was a road trip day, and this travel outfit is one you have seen me share many, many times. It's been a bestseller. It's fantastic. It's a great set, and each piece is easy to be paired with other things. I do have in the description box and pinned to the top of the comments all the details, like the outfits, what I'm wearing, any pertinent information that you might want to look up to research your own vacation to Asheville, North Carolina. So do check the description box, and if you can't find that, go over to the comments. It'll all be pinned at the very top with all of that information there. So Thursday night, kind of a bust. The hotel we stayed at, there were a few hotels we could have picked. We picked the Airport Hilton. I'm not entirely sure why. I think part of it is because, little history lesson here, the Austin airport was originally an Air Force base, and then it was closed down and repurposed for a civilian airport. And this Airport Hilton was the command center of the 12th Air Force. It was like the headquarters of the base. And it's a really cool historic building, maybe not so cool to stay in. It was kind of creepy. Really dark. Our room was actually nice. It was fine, but the windows looked out into the inside of the hotel, so there's no natural light. Everything that could be off about a hotel, from the service to the food, it was just. So if you need to stay at a hotel near the Austin airport, I would advise not staying at the Airport Hilton. It served its purpose. If we ever do that again, it will be at a different hotel. Friday morning, we got up I think we got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, because when they tell you you need to be at the gate 2 hours early, we are those people. I had my big Wallace Tote bag as one of my carry-ons. Then I had my Quince roll-on hard-sided carry-on bag. That one is specifically for, I never check my makeup or my makeup brushes. I put my nice handbags in there. Any jewelry that I have, I usually put in there. And I specifically picked this Quince carry-on that has a front flap pocket so that I could put my laptop in there, my liquids bag. I could stick my phone in there and ID in there if I needed to grab that instead of digging through my big Wallace Tote bag. I checked the full-size hard-sided luggage that I got from Quince as well, and I'm really, really loving it. Okay, so Friday travel day, different, very comfortable outfit. I've shared a version of this before. Last summer, we did a big trip, and I wore this for part of the travel day. It's the chunky sweater, kind of sleeveless top with the knit pants. It's just really comfortable. In person, I don't know if it's coming across on camera, but in person, it looks a little more put together than, say, leggings and sneakers. layers. I like that the pants have pockets. It's easy to layer. I wasn't sure how hot or cold I was gonna get on the plane or how humid and hot it would feel when we got to Asheville, so easily layered a jacket over it. I am pleased to say that the Caslon Tencel utility jacket, at least as of last week, was still in stock on Nordstrom. It's such a great spring lightweight jacket, and it's easy to just tinily fold up and put in your tote bag if you get too hot. So I was very pleased with that travel outfit. I think we got to the Biltmore estate around 11 a.m. and I had seen it, you know, on the internet and seen pictures. The size of this place does not do it justice. It's an 8,000 acre estate. I essentially stayed at Downton Abbey for the weekend, just driving through that gate. The nice thing about staying at the inn at the Biltmore estate is it's part of the whole Biltmore property with the grounds and the village and the Chihuly exhibit, and of course the Biltmore house, which that's not a house, that's like a castle. So you have access to all of that included in your hotel stay. The drive through the grounds to get to the inn, you keep thinking, is this for real? I have so much footage of me just driving in the car. We spent a lot of time in the car driving around the estate because it's stunning. And in springtime, the flowers, the fields, wild turkeys running around, a lot of geese. Apparently there are bear. I didn't see any, thank goodness. It's so stunning. We got to the hotel and were told that our rooms would not be available until 4 p.m. So we had to find something to do. So we did leave our luggage with them. So I'm glad that I had we drove down to what's called Antler Village, which is, I think it's like a 10-minute walk from the hotel, but we drove. It's lots of hills and whatever. And it's just a little collection of shops and restaurants. There's a little museum. There is a giant Chihuly piece right in the middle of it. They play live music there on the weekends. And so we walked around. The flowers there are amazing. And then we decided to grab some lunch. We'd been up for quite a while at this point. We went to lunch at the Village Social, which is one of several restaurants on the property. It wasn't my favorite. I had the chicken salad. It was not great. It came with a side of pasta salad, and thank goodness for that, because that's what I had for lunch with a Diet Coke. I really don't drink soda all that often anymore, but I really needed the caffeine. We did not sleep well the night before, and then we got up at 4. So you know you haven't slept well when the alarm goes off at 4 a.m. and you're already up. It was, in spite of the lack of sleep and the not great lunch, absolutely beautiful. The weather was perfect. I want to say like high 60s, low 70s, cool breeze. And then the bride and groom texted me and happened to say that they were on their way to Antler Village and were we in the neighborhood. I'm like, we're just sitting here. So we ended up sitting outside and chatting with them for most of the afternoon. And then it was 4 o'clock and we went back up to the hotel, and very good timing because it started to rain, and it rained, I think, every day we were there for some part of the day. Even the rain was pretty. Everything was just perfect at this place. One thing we did before we checked into our room was we checked out the 2 shops that are actually in the hotel itself. There's a higher end clothing store, and then there is like sort of a gift shop, sundry shop that also happens to have a confectionery section, like handmade candies and confectionaries. I may or may not have bought 2 bonbons. I don't know that I've ever had a bonbon before, so we decided that was gonna be our after dinner treat. So we did finally get up to the room around 4 o'clock, and they are redoing all the rooms. I'll pop in a picture of what they're going to look like. Our room had not yet been redone, so it was very classic, I wanna say like Ethan Allen type, cherry wood, antique looking pieces. Not terribly updated, but the room itself didn't look tired or anything. It's just not a style that's, I mean, there's quiet luxury, and then there's like, this is the luxury that we still have around from the 80s and 90s, and I would say that falls into the second category. I cannot wait to see what the new rooms look like. I caught a glimpse of one of the upper floors had been redone. It is so beautiful. So another reason to check it out. Of course, gotta love the slippers. Were the nicest hotel slippers I've ever seen. The robes, but you're really there for access to the grounds and the whole hotel and all the things that are on the estate. We were hoping to catch up with Lisa D1 and her daughter, who were also coming to the wedding, but by the time they got into town, which was closer to dinner time, Michael and I had hit a wall. We were done. So we decided to just go downstairs. They have what's called a library lounge, which is really the only place that you can get a more casual dinner. I'll say one drawback of the inn at the Biltmore is that the on-site restaurants are pretty limited. You have the main, very fancy 5-star dining room that's open for breakfast, and it's resort casual, but then it's 4-star dining in the evenings, sport coat or jacket required kind of place. And then you have the library lounge, which is the lobby essentially, and you can get small bites, and it's beautiful. But if you want anything else, it's candy out of the gift shop. So we went there, and it was just beautiful. First of all the time, the background going in all the public spaces, and you can even hear it outside around the hotel, are string quartets, heightened string quartets, just playing all day long. So I felt like I was in Downton Abbey all day. We sat in this beautiful room with these incredible vistas. They had a guy playing a grand piano in there. He was singing Broadway covers and like crooning, and his voice was incredible, and it was just so elegant. And I had this hummus plate that was so much more than that, with olive tapenade and all these cute little crudités and little pitas cut into perfect little triangles. And Michael and I are not drinkers, and so we went with mocktails that they make on the estate with, I think, strawberry. I can't remember exactly what mine was, but they were strawberry or blackberry infused essences. It's very fancy and it was very nice. And that was our first full day at the hotel. Let's move on to Saturday, which was wedding day. So the wedding was in the evening at the Grove Park Inn. So we had all day Saturday to do whatever we wanted. Saturday morning, late morning, headed back down to Antler Hill Village, and this time we grabbed lunch at the Creamery, which is an ice cream and sandwich shop. Outstanding. If you love a really good sandwich, I highly recommend the Creamery. I got the roast turkey with brie and cranberry mayo. I was in heaven. We sat outside, listened to the birds, soaked in the sunshine, and then we walked around Antler Village again. They have a museum on the grounds there that kind of has artifacts from the Biltmores, tells you a little bit more about the Biltmore family. So that was really cool. Learned a little bit about them. I wore a longer sleeve maxi dress. You've seen it before, and I did decide to belt it, and that was all good. What I probably should have done is pack different shoes. I thought it was going to be a lot colder, so I wore ankle boots. And in the morning, it was fine, but I should have changed into sandals or honestly sneakers for the rest of the afternoon. We had not planned our day. We knew we were going to the Creamery to get sandwiches and walk around, and then it was kind of like, let's see what we want to do next. So we decided, hey, why don't we go over to the Chihuly exhibit, because it might sell out, and so let's go now. In case it does, maybe we can get tickets for Sunday. Let's not wait till Sunday. So we drove down to the Chihuly exhibit. There was no line, there was no wait. And honestly, there was a parking spot in front of the building. Just a little tip, don't assume you have to park out in the far parking lots. Drive up to the main entrance. There's like 5 or 6 spots right there. We got one. The Chihuly exhibit, and I have seen some before, but oh my goodness, if you get an opportunity to go, whether it's at the Biltmore or anywhere else that they have Chihuly exhibit, do not miss it. Do not miss it. It is, again, something I'm gonna share pictures of, but being there in person, the colors, the vibrancy, it's like being in a Dr. Seuss novel that has come to life. It is incredible. And what's really cool about it, as one of the docents mentioned, is that Dale Chihuly is still alive. You're getting to see works by an absolute master, and he's still here, which is very rare. Usually artists are not recognized until they are dead. So it was just amazing, and you could spend a whole day there, but we did not because we had more to do. So then we're like, hey, you know what? We have time. Let's go drive over to the actual Biltmore house, like the giant castle-like thing that they call a house. Let's do that before we go to the wedding. So this is the point where I was really regretting not wearing sneakers. You can either take a shuttle directly from the inn at the Biltmore and it'll drop you off in front of the house, or because we'd been already wandering around on our own, you can park in one of the overflow parking lots and then you grab a shuttle from that parking lot and it takes you to the Biltmore house, which is what we did. Very easy. It's beautiful. The ride into the Biltmore house to the parking lot is possibly the prettiest drive in the entire state. There was a bear sighting in the parking lot, but by the time we got back to our car, he was gone, or it was gone. So we didn't see the bear, but what we did see were the gardens and the grounds of the Biltmore house. We knew we didn't have time to go in the house. Again, we're definitely going back at some point, so it's something we can do. Just the grounds are mind-blowing, and we didn't even see all of those. But we spent a lot of time in the conservatory and the gardens. That someone used to live here and call it not even their full-time home is absolutely mind-blowing. It's an insane amount of money that these people spent, and I'm really glad that they did, because now we get to enjoy it. It's just, there are no words. It was beautiful. The whole thing is so well done. I never saw one bit of garbage. Everyone was very polite. Everywhere you looked was something beautiful and stunning. It is definitely something to see. I will say that there was a big tent getting set up while we were there next to the house. They were having a wedding there, so I kind of like took a little peek in. I actually met a mother who's staying at the hotel with us who was there to tour wedding spots with her daughter, and they had looked at the Biltmore, and just the site rental, just to reserve it, that doesn't include like the tent and the minimum food and beverage and all the things, just to reserve the spot was $75,000. I was like, oh, At this point, we're like, oh, you know what? We're actually here for a wedding. We need to change. So we got back to the hotel, started to change, and realized that a biblical level thunderstorm was rolling through. So we drove through that. So we get to the Grove Park Inn and we got there early, yes, to see the grounds and everything, but mostly, honestly, because I only usually get to see Lisa at the LTK conference and Madison as well, who's another YouTuber. Madison Payne is her YouTube channel, and I will link them both in the description box. So we got to hang out with Lisa, and I finally got to meet her daughter, Brooke, who is stunning, and hang out with Madison. And we were only supposed to hang out there for about an hour or so before the ceremony started. The ceremony was in this tent on their veranda overlooking the golf course and everything, except they had that biblical level thunderstorm and the tent fell down. So they did put the tent back up, but there was a bit of a rain delay. So the ceremony itself didn't start till a little after 7, but it was beautiful. And I don't have really much in the way of photos. I didn't even get a photo with the bride. One, because I was living in the moment and I didn't have my phone out to document it. I just wanted to be there. Secondly, because the ceremony itself, they told us to make sure our phones were put up. They wanted, I can't remember how they told it, like a phone-free ceremony. But also because Sarah Jane is in social media, I figured she'd be wanting to share her own photos, and I did not want to preempt the bride sharing. So if you want to see more photos and more about the wedding itself, definitely go follow Sarah Jane on Instagram and on YouTube. The ceremony was absolutely beautiful. Sarah Jane looked incredible. And then the reception itself was in like a banquet room just next to the tent, so that was very convenient. I don't think this is said very often. The food at the wedding was amazing. The DJ was great, food was great, the people were great. It was beautiful. I'm so thankful that we were invited and that we had the opportunity to go. It was a lovely evening. So we ducked out of the wedding a little bit before 10, and I'm glad that we did because it was getting late for us. And we'd had a couple of late nights, early mornings. And also because what we didn't take into account is, Asheville's a good sized city, streetlights and all that stuff. The Biltmore estate itself is not. It's someone's basically country home, and there are no streetlights on the property. 8,000 acres of pitch black darkness with bears and wildlife, and it's raining again. From the gate to get back to the hotel, driving pretty slowly because it's super dark and there's animals running all over the place. It took us a good 20 minutes just from the gate to the hotel. So just if you're gonna be staying at the inn at the Biltmore, think about if you're leaving at night, it's gonna be really dark when you come back. I guess before we move on to Sunday, I should discuss something about the outfit that I wore to the wedding. I've shared the dress a number of times. It's currently on sale in a couple of the colors it comes in the Nordstrom sale. So if you want to grab it, highly recommend you do, especially at the sale price. But the color I'm wearing, of course, is not in the sale, but I still think it's a really good buy. It's just under $100 for a wedding guest dress. I think it's beautiful and it's super comfortable, and you can wear your regular bra. Now it was chilly, so I had ordered actually 2 silk cashmere wraps. I got one in an ivory color from Nordstrom, and then I got the red one that you're seeing from Quince. They both have advantages. The main advantage from Quince is that it's significantly less expensive than the one from Nordstrom. The advantage that Nordstrom has is they're usually always in stock and Quince always sells out. The one from Nordstrom is currently on sale, so I'll link them both. But the reason I went with the red is because I was just thinking that the ivory looked a little too bridal, and I didn't want to, not that I was going to be mistaken for the bride, but you generally want to avoid wearing large white or ivory colored things at a wedding if you're not the bride. So I went with the red, and I'm really glad I brought that wrap because it was cold. Let's get to Sunday, possibly one of the very best days of my life. Like, I laid in bed at night and relived this day in my head, and probably will for the rest of my life. This is the outfit that I wore all day, and I have to give a shout out to that button-down shirt because when they say it is no iron, they are not kidding. It came out of the suitcase looking like that. I love it. I need to get more of them. It stayed crisp and cool all day long. We don't normally eat breakfast, but we decided last day, let's grab breakfast. Totally forgot it was Sunday. So they had a full-on Sunday brunch. Luckily, even though it was the most elegant dining room and the most elegant service, most people were dressed similarly to me. So I did not feel out of place, but this brunch, I tried to be good, and I ate a full portion of protein like eggs and some bacon, and then just took little samples of all the other things, which were basically carbs. It was carb heaven. They had the most amazing French toast I've ever had. They chopped up cinnamon rolls that are baked on the estate and molded it into little flour molds and baked them. So they were little. Like, each portion was like that size. You didn't even need syrup because it was like a little cinnamon roll with all that gooiness. Oh my gosh. They had cheese grits. They had hash brown casserole. They had mini cronuts. They had mini chocolate croissants. They had all the best carbs I've ever seen in my life. and all of that in this beautiful dining room with these beautiful flowers and the most amazing views. If that was all we did on Sunday, that would have been amazing. But no. One of the things we learned from wandering around the estate is that they have sheep on the estate, and with those sheep come sheep dogs. Well, in this case, guard dogs. So they have 7 Great Pyrenees dogs that are assigned to watch the flock. So we decided we're gonna find the sheep because we want to see the dogs. So we did. We found the sheep, and we found, I don't know which one of the 7 it was, but I've not really seen too many Great Pyrenees in real life, but think of like a giant sheep itself. That's basically what it looks like. It blends right in. You couldn't get too close. I had to do extreme zoom on my phone, but I found the sheep, so that was awesome. And then something Michael had really wanted to do was they have a single A baseball team in Asheville called the Asheville Tourists. So we got tickets, we sat right behind home plate, and we sat through, I think, 6 innings. There was a rainstorm in the middle of it where we all hid in the stairwells, and then we came out and finished. So we went through 6 innings of baseball, so Michael was in heaven. Then we decided, since we were already basically in downtown Asheville, we wandered around. Michael's obsessed with ice cream for some reason, dairy-free ice cream, specifically coconut milk ice cream. So we found a place that had that. I was still stuffed from brunch, so that was basically his lunch. Looked around downtown Asheville a little bit. That's a whole area we need to explore more. Then this is the best, I think, part of the day. We went back to the hotel, walked around the grounds, found a tree swing, lived out some childhood fantasies on that swing. I felt like I was Anne of Green Gables. Then we found some Adirondack chairs grouped in seating arrangements on the top of a hill overlooking the valley, and you could see the Blue Ridge Mountains in the distance. So we just sat out there and read and listened to the birds, and then the clouds started rolling back in again, and it was just about time for an early dinner. So we went back to the library lounge. We managed to score a table outside on the veranda undercover, and I had possibly the best hamburger of my life. It was actually their sliders, so they're little. It was Wagyu beef and onion bacon jam. It's just tiny, perfect size, so good. The views, the music, just everything about it, the weather. It was just incredible. And then, because it was still early enough in the evening, the candy shop was still open. So for dessert, I got 1 chocolate-covered Oreo, and Michael got a giant peanut butter cup. We packed, had our little tiny desserts, called it a night. And then Monday was basically the reverse of Thursday without having to get up at the crack of dawn. We had an early morning flight, like 10. So, we could get up at a regular time, went back to the Asheville airport. And I didn't get a picture because I was busy like living and trying to get and going through security and all the things. I chose to wear Spanx outfit I had packed. It's the long sleeve kind of polo neck pullover and then the matching tapered pants because it was a little chilly. And I always get cold on an airplane. So that's what I wore back. So that was pretty much everything we did, everything we saw, ate, all the things. It was stunning. If you had been following me on Instagram, I was doing little recaps each day, the day after, showing you probably everything that you've seen here. I can't recommend it enough. I have been told that you need to go back at Christmas time because the decorations are amazing. I can believe that. However, you'll probably miss out on the grounds because I'm imagining it's snow and you can't just wander around outside in the snow. I mean, I wouldn't because I'm in Texas, but if you like snow, maybe you would. But anyway, it is definitely one of those magical places that one visit is not nearly enough. And so we will definitely be back more than likely in the spring again. So I don't know when, but it's on my list of places to go back to. So let me know if you enjoyed this very long, chatty vlog style, what I wore kind of video. We have some more trips planned this year. We're going back to Vermont, so I will plan on doing another one of these for that. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I figure it's a long weekend, so why not have a long, chatty video this Sunday morning? So I hope you had fun. You were able to enjoy some of what we got to enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.